Hey there everyone, and welcome to the Clever Pixel channel. If there's one thing I love, it's a good story. And let's be real, sometimes the best stories are the ones you wouldn't believe unless they were, well, history. Today, we're diving into the wacky, the weird, the truly unbelievable annals of the past with 10 historical facts you won't believe are true. Get ready to question everything you thought you knew, because things are about to get wild. Number 1. All right, let's kick things off with a real head-scratcher. The Great Emu War of 1932. You heard that right, a war against emus. Picture this, Western Australia. Thousands of emus, big flightless birds, are wreaking havoc on farmers' crops. The solution? The Australian military is called in, armed with machine guns. The soldiers were actually deployed to cull the emu population. They set up machine gun nests, ready to defend against these feathered foes. The emus, however, proved to be surprisingly adept at, well, not being shot. They scattered, they dodged, they basically said, "Bring it on." The war lasted for a few weeks, with the emus employing guerrilla tactics. The result? A humiliating defeat for the Australian military. The emus, it seemed, had won the day, and to this day the Great Emu War stands as a testament to the unpredictable nature of, well, everything. Number 2. Okay, time for a mind-bending history fact. Cleopatra lived closer to the moon landing than the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. We tend to lump ancient civilizations together in this big distant past. But the reality is, time is a vast and twisty thing. Cleopatra, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, died in 30 BC. The Great Pyramid of Giza, on the other hand, was completed around 2560 BC. That's a difference of over 2,500 years. Now consider this. The Apollo 11 mission landed on the moon in 1969, a little less than 2,000 years after Cleopatra's death. Cleopatra, for all her legendary status, lived in a world far closer to our modern era than to the age of pyramid builders. Makes you think, right? Number 3. Ready for a history lesson that's shorter than your average TikTok video? Buckle up for the Anglo-Zanzibar War, the shortest war in recorded history. This blink-and-you'll-miss-it conflict went down on August 27, 1896, and it was over in just 38 minutes. Zanzibar, at the time a British protectorate, saw its pro-British Sultan die. His cousin, Khalid bin Bargash, seized power, but the British wanted someone a little more, shall we say, cooperative. An ultimatum was issued: surrender or face the might of the British Empire. Khalid, perhaps a tad overconfident, chose the latter. Big mistake. At precisely 9 a.m., the British warships opened fire on the Sultan's palace. By 9:38 a.m., the palace was in ruins, the Sultan was in hiding, and the British were declaring victory. And that, my friends, is how you win a war before tea time. Number 4. Napoleon Bonaparte, the legendary military strategist, the Emperor of France, was once, allegedly, attacked by a horde of bunnies. Yes, you heard that right. Bunnies. According to legend, they were the bane of Napoleon's existence for one strange day. After a successful hunting trip, a rabbit hunt was organized. Hundreds of bunnies were rounded up for the Emperor's amusement. But then, something unexpected happened. Instead of hopping away, they charged. They swarmed Napoleon and his men, causing chaos. The Emperor fled in comical terror. Whether true or embellished, it's a hilarious image. Napoleon defeated not by an army, but by bunnies. History, even with legends, can be incredibly strange. Number 5. If you've ever enjoyed the satisfying crunch of a Pringles potato chip, you might be surprised to learn about the final resting place of their inventor. Frederick Bauer, the man who gave us the iconic stackable chips and their ingenious canister, is now buried in a Pringles can. Bauer was a chemist who dedicated years of his life to perfecting the Pringles formula and ensuring they wouldn't go stale. He was so proud of his creation, in fact, that he requested his ashes be buried in one of his iconic cans. His children, though initially surprised by the request, ultimately honored his wishes. So next time you pop open a can of Pringles, take a moment to remember Frederick Barr, the man who revolutionized snack time. And hey, if you ever find yourself at his grave, maybe leave a can of Pringles as a tribute. Number 6. Ever wondered how the Guinness Book of World Records came to be? Was it the brainchild of a bored historian? Or maybe a group of exceptionally competitive athletes? Nope. The answer lies in a pub, because of course it does. Back in 1951, Sir Hugh Beaver, then managing director of Guinness Breweries, got into a heated debate with his hunting buddies. The topic of contention, which bird was the fastest game bird in Europe? The problem was, no one could definitively answer the question, and thus an idea was born. Beaver realized that pubs across the land were likely filled with similar debates, all lacking a definitive source of truth. So, he decided to create a book, a compendium of records and superlatives that could settle any argument and, not coincidentally, promote Guinness beer in the process. The first edition of the Guinness Book of World Records was published in 1955, and it quickly became a global phenomenon. Number 7. Let's talk about ancient Egypt for a moment, specifically their, shall we say, creative approach to family planning. While the ancient Egyptians were known for their impressive advancements in medicine, mathematics, and engineering, their methods of contraception were, well, let's just say they were a bit more, organic. We're talking about crocodile dung, folks. Yes, you heard that right. According to ancient texts, Egyptian women used crocodile dung as a form of contraception. The logic, as far as historians can tell, was that the dung, being slightly acidic, might have acted as a spermicide. Now, whether this method was actually effective is highly debatable, and I wouldn't recommend trying it at home, but it does highlight the ingenuity and perhaps desperation of people throughout history to control their reproductive health. It also makes you appreciate how far we've come in the field of contraception, right? Number 8. Time for a little space-themed mind-bender. On Venus, a day is longer than a year. A day on a planet is determined by how long it takes to rotate on its axis, while a year is defined by how long it takes to orbit the Sun. Venus, being the rebellious planet that it is, decided to do things a little differently. It rotates incredibly slowly, taking a whopping 243 Earth days to complete one rotation. However, its orbit around the Sun is relatively quick, lasting only 225 Earth days. So there you have it. On Venus, you could celebrate your birthday twice before a single day had passed. Number 9. Paris, the city of love, lights, and a growing Eiffel Tower? Yep, you read that right. The Eiffel Tower, that iconic symbol of France, can actually grow taller during the summer months. The Eiffel Tower is made primarily of iron, and like most metals, iron expands when it's heated. During the hot Parisian summers, the iron structure of the tower can expand by as much as 15 centimeters, or about 6 inches. This phenomenon, known as thermal expansion, is a great example of how even seemingly unchanging structures are affected by the world around them. It's a reminder that even in the realm of engineering marvels, nature always finds a way to leave its mark. Number 10. Fasten your seatbelts, folks, because we're about to embark on the shortest commercial flight in the world. This quick hop takes place in Scotland, between the islands of Westray and Papa Westray, and it clocks in at a record-breaking 1.5 minutes. The flight, operated by Loganair, covers a distance of just 1.7 miles, which is shorter than the runway at some major airports. The plane, a tiny 8-seater, flies at a cruising altitude of just 1,000 feet, giving passengers breathtaking views of the Orkney Islands. While the flight might be short, it's packed with history and charm. It's been operating for over 50 years, serving as a vital link for the islanders and a unique tourist attraction for those seeking a quick adrenaline rush, or maybe just bragging rights for experiencing the world's shortest flight. Well, there you have it, folks. 10 historical facts that sound like they were ripped from the pages of a fictional novel, but are, in fact, totally true. From emu warfare to bunny uprisings, history is chock full of surprises, reminding us that the past was a wild, wacky, and often unbelievable place. If you enjoyed this trip down history's rabbit hole, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more mind-blowing content. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that love of history alive.